This is Spare Parts, your show for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Stephen Cleary, Sean Cavarella, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Welcome to Spare Parts. I am your host, Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
And after a week off, we are back. Steven, you are now in a new location because fuck you, you own a house.
Somehow.
Oh.
Yep.
I mean, like, yay.
Yay, but boo.
Yeah.
Kind of a good thing we took that extra week, but yeah, so we are back. We have to talk about a lot of stuff because we have missed quite a bit.
Yes.
So I guess
Far too much.
lined up for this week, we got the Jeddah race to talk about because it has been a while. Vegas.
Was the bomb.
God, fucking, it's the bomb. Really? Really?
Oh, Steven. I just got that. Like, it took me a little, and I was like, oh, the bomb.
Yeah.
I feel like I shouldn't be laughing about that, though.
Probably not.
Nope, not at all. Okay, so we
You put
got
on a
Jeddah.
Saudi list.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jeddah. Vegas. Two very different places. I mean, one, what happened there stays there. The other, you race here, you can't leave here. So, you know.
They're both kind of explosive.
Yeah, but I think one has more glitter.
Yeah.
And then we got some NASCAR stuff to talk about because we haven't touched on that in a while. And yeah, so before we begin, I gotta complain about something.
What?
Steven, you got this complaint. Taylor, you will not give a shit at all about this. So I was doing some iRacing earlier today.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Taylor, you don't give a shit. It's fine. Okay. When you're doing your out lap or like your parade lap, Steven,
Yep.
and it is 2 lanes, but the track goes down to 1 lane.
Single
What do you
file.
do?
It's single file that shit.
Yes. Single file the damn out lap. Don't try to squeeze 2 guys into a place where there's only like you can barely fit 2 cars. And then guys always touch each other in there, and then someone's yelling at one guy because, "Oh, you gave me a contact." Yeah. The amount of people that are stupid in like something like iRacing or any other kind of sim racing thing, just treat it basically like how actual racers do it. Just go single file and then form up on the start. That's all you gotta do. Anyway.
But you see, that has far too much common sense.
This is my PSA to sim racers and people in iRacing. If you're doing your freaking out lap or parade lap, just go one at a time, single file. You know where you're supposed to be. There's a big arrow that tells you do that after the lap. You don't need to go side by side with someone around an entire track that probably the guy beside you didn't even practice. Because usually that guy beside you that didn't practice is me. So, you know.
Door bang.
We'll get to Coda later, Stephen.
Okay.
Anyway, so that is that rant and complaint. So now we can actually begin and talk about more stuff to rant and complain about, such as the F1 race in Jeddah. So and a weekend that quite literally started with a bang. And then another bang. And then a banger lap. And then a banger finish. You know what? It was all kind of a bang. So.
I feel like if I had $1 for every time you said that in the last sentence.
Said what? Bang? That was the whole point.
I'd be a little bit richer.
Yeah, rule of 3, and then you break it and go to 4, and all of a sudden it's not funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so what? Do we start at the very beginning with the first bang, and what were everybody's thoughts? Because there was a lot of opinions floating around the internet after that happened.
Yeah, based on the whole political situation, I feel, in Saudi Arabia, F1 and other major sports should not race there.
I agree. 100%.
May I present the F1 counterpoint of, but money.
That's always the counterpoint, though. But at the end of the day, though, like, we all know that the reason that they're in Saudi to begin with is because of money. It doesn't mean that
I thought it was their culture. I just, I thought they had a really good car culture.
It's all that oil. But I think they're like, we can still argue and, present the facts that, the political landscape is insanely unstable. And I was kind of on the side, like with the drivers of, like it might not be the safest place to race. And I mean, with, we've talked about it before with all the human rights issues there that, F1 being in a place like that and putting it on the platform that it has, don't necessarily agree with it. I mean, I know that they signed a big deal, but honestly, I would cut that race out of the calendar in favor of Vegas.
Well, we'll get to what gets cut later, but first, when it comes to Saudi Arabia, I just don't think you should be at any track where if your drivers don't want to race, your option isn't yes, race or don't race, or versus if you don't race, you can't leave the country, which apparently is part of the deal. I don't want anything that has that part of the deal with any government, any kind of regime. If it's you do what we want or you can't leave, you should not be going there. The FIA should not be going. Like, okay, flip side of an idea. Mick is killed on Saturday. Let's abandon this race altogether. No, you have to race or no one can leave. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah,
like that should not be part of any kind of agreement.
No, like it's totally taking away the free choice of any driver to say, no, you know what, I don't feel safe in this environment and walk away.
I mean, the Saudis taking away free choice?
Yeah. Their MO.
Yeah.
But
and that's
not
probably
to mention
why
the fact that it will kill somebody. That track will kill somebody one day.
Oh, that track is stupid, but fuck it. Let's add it to the whole point of, one, you're at a track that I feel a lot of people don't like to race at. Two, a fucking missile attack was nearby the track, targeting your main sponsor of the race. Three, the track is dangerous and easily someone can get hurt there. Like, say an incident like Mick happens, opening lap, and you go right across the track in front of other cars.
Down the straight.
Yeah. I don't understand why we need to have this, why this has to be on the calendar.
Yeah.
Because money. It's very simple.
There's also part of my brain which is like the geopolitical obsessed part of my brain, which is like, well, they came to a peace or a ceasefire agreement for the first time in basically the history of the whole conflict after they attacked near the track. So maybe there was also some political wins for the rebels. You know what I mean? So like, you see it in that kind of way. It's like, it's awful, but also in a certain point of view, it worked maybe for the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's a weird situation. I really don't like it. But
yeah, no, I agree.
So
stupid.
I don't like that. I don't like F1 being there. Of all the newest additions to the F1 calendar since Liberty's taken over, I think Saudi Arabia is the one that everyone hates the most.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna leave, Russia because they're in like a war of some kind, there's a couple other places you might want to leave also.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, no, okay, we're gonna cancel the Russia race. I'm like, have you seen what's been going on in Saudi Arabia for like years?
Azerbaijan had an offensive war last year that everyone kind of turned a blind eye to.
But
Mhm.
the
But-
castle turn, Sean, and the money.
Also, an equally dangerous track.
But
Yeah.
the castle turn and the money. You're missing
There's-
the points.
I cannot believe that. Like, I have a very hard time believing that there is no other place that you can run a race where F1 wouldn't be making a buttload of money that isn't outside the Middle East. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be other places outside of that area of the world.
I'm sure anywhere you could make a buttload of money, but here you make even more of a buttload of money. So obviously,
You make 2 buttloads of money.
huh? Isn't a buttload like an actual unit of measurement?
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Is it actually a butt ton?
Uh,
How do you
It's
measure a
basically
butt
like,
ton?
It's basically like a large wooden cask.
Yes, it is. It's a buttload of wine. There's 126 gallons. So
There you go.
there
Okay,
we go.
but like, how do you measure that? Like, did somebody like make a cask in the shape of a butt, and that's why we call it a buttload?
No idea. But for reference, okay,
Or a
so
butt ton?
you know in Shrek, in the first one, where he like hits the giant cask of beer all over the knights he has to fight in the wrestling style match, that is the size of a buttload it looks like. Just looking at photos of what it is.
So is it a butt ton or a buttload?
Buttload.
Okay, so a butt ton doesn't exist. It's
No,
just a
you're
buttload.
making that up, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
So glad we got that covered. On to the race, or I guess even, do you want to talk about Mick's accident first? That was pretty scary.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which
Yeah.
F2 driver had the exact same accident to a T. I can't remember who it was, but yeah.
Ooh.
One of the F2 guys did the same thing where they rode the curb and just got up into the wall and hit the exact same angle and everything as Mick's crash.
Yeah, you see, you could just tell, like, and it's so unfortunate. And, you know, when crashes like that happen and you don't necessarily know what's going on right away, like, not even Haas knew what was going on because all of the communication stuff had broken off the car.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any word of whether or not Mick was actually moving or if he could like speak until people actually got to him, right? And he was like being taken for like medical evaluation. But it's like crashes like that that really like kind of make you really nervous. I'm glad that he was okay because it looked like such a high impact crash.
Oh, yeah. Like, that was... Do you remember what it said in the G's? Did anyone catch
33.
that? Ugh, that's a hefty impact.
It's up
Was
there.
that more or less than Verstappen's in Silverstone?
Less.
I think that was 35. It was close.
Yeah, but similar
Oh.
impact.
Either way,
Yeah.
Hard hits.
it doesn't tickle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But like honestly, it's stuff like that, and the fact that there was like 2 crashes that happened that weekend that were like pretty much the exact same, you just know that the unfortunate reality of that track is that it's probably going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
That like that curb is insanely fast.
Also, like, why you don't have any kind of runoff there, or even a safer barrier or something like that. Like, you could put in better safety measures, but
Yeah.
you don't.
effort.
In fun news, at least Perez got his first pole.
Yeah, that was exciting.
which
Good for
was
him.
Good to see.
Hmm.
And what were your guys' thoughts on the race itself? It's been a week, so like if you can't remember, I get it.
Oh, I remember everything. I was so happy. I mean, wasn't happy at the very last second, but also I will take second for my boy Charles Leclerc. Honestly, it's one of those races that you're like, finally, we're back to racing that keeps you on your toes.
I will hold off full judgment of the new package until after Australia. A track
Okay,
that
fair enough.
usually has been kind of dull for races the last few years. I want to see how they do there.
Okay. That's fair, but it was like it was an exciting race though because like you didn't necessarily know what was going to happen and pit stops were pretty crucial in terms of strategy. It was unfortunately the main reason like why Checo didn't carry on leading that race. I don't think Red Bull necessarily had the best strategy that weekend, but Ferrari, I could see Ferrari winning the constructors this year. Like, they just look so strong compared to everybody else.
I mean, typical Ferrari fan. 2 races in, they're already like,
Yeah.
give us the constructor.
It's like the Leafs starting off with a 3-game win streak. It's our year, Stanley Cup.
Yeah, okay. Settle down there.
Know what it is? Part of me is like, I really want Ferrari to fall off and just end up in like 6th or something, so that way someone can just make that podium meme where it's the guy spraying the champagne, kisses the model, and then it's just 5 steps down from the actual winner, and they're all just staring like, what the fuck are you celebrating about?
Yeah, no, that's Haas. That's Kevin Magnussen this year.
Yes.
See, they're actually moving up the podiums by like a good amount.
Which
Ferrari's
is
just,
like so
Ferrari's getting to where they should be.
I would not be surprised if Magnussen gets a podium this year.
Oh,
No.
100% I think he's going to.
Maybe in
Can
Australia.
we place that bet?
No.
Will that make our money back that we lost on Vettel?
No, we already got our money back from Metal. Thank you, Bet365, for also being pieces of shit.
Yeah, so Steven's betting Bet365. Want to explain what happened there, Steven?
So basically, it was some stupid thing with legalizing in Ontario or something. They had to migrate over, and they couldn't just say, yeah, we're just going to take all your bets, reference them to new ones with the same odds. We're going to cash them all out instead. So
That is so awful.
yes, it's awful when you look at bets like, so we had Moritz Seider at good odds to win Rookie of the Year. I was like,
Oh
damn
my
it, why?
gosh.
But then you look at the Vettel and Stroll bets, and it's like,
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we
That's fine.
got money back
Do
on
it.
those. The
Yeah.
one I'm most pissed off was the Coach of the Year for NHL. That one was looking very good.
You got a little extra money for that.
Yeah, but that one,
They cashed it out at what it would have cashed out at. So
I just want to point out that was looking at like a $200 payout and like a $10 bet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
instead you get like $30.
Yep. Anyway,
Well, I'm not
So-
sad to lose that.
so now
bet.
we have to restart our betting account.
Oh, jeez.
But on the
Does that
bright
mean my debt
side-
is wiped?
Uh,
No, it's not. Not at
no,
all.
you actually owe more money now somehow.
Oh no. It's the interest.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean owes a shit ton of money.
Shut up.
So
So,
Jenna.
one thing I thought about the race, which I kind of love to see, and I wonder how this will go going forward. What was it? It was the Alonso and Ocon duel.
Yes. Okay. All right.
That's
who's
the
gonna say
that's
it?
the
Like-
Ocon I remember.
Okay. Here's the thing though, like you have to know when to go for it and when to like not, because there were some moves, like pulling moves on your teammate, fine. Like obviously you're there to win. Everybody's in a competition. Like yes, you're a team, but you're also there for yourself, right? Like you don't get to keep your seat if you're just a complacent person or a complacent driver. However, when you make moves on your teammate that are highly risky to put them in the wall, I feel like there's a limit.
I
And
think
like
that whole
Ocon
battle
crossed
was
that
over.
limit a little.
I think a lot. You know.
A lot. Like
Like-
it was one of those things where it's like, Ocon, dude, like do
So-
not do that.
After last year, I remember saying like I didn't think that pairing would work out well. You know, historically, Ocon hasn't been the best team-friendly guy, and Alonso also is kind of
More
Alonso.
lone wolf.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and seeing them fight, I'm like, oh, this is what I remember. And given how Alpine, I feel, is kind of in the middle of no man's land, kind of just like fourth, and no one really challenging them.
Mhm.
Are they going to shoot themselves in the foot now with these two fighting?
You know what?
It'll be interesting to see how this year plays
Maybe.
out.
Because I think maybe last year, because it was Ocon's first year back, right? Yes. It was his first year back, and it was the beginning of a driver pairing. They kind of had like a car. Maybe you know, they were just working things out, or they didn't think that they were competitive, so they worked a little bit better as a team. But I have a feeling, Sean, that you're going to be right, and that we're going to see some really cringy moments between the two of them when they're battling, where it's going to be like, you should not do that.
Yeah, you're gonna see at least one or two instances where they touch each other this year for sure.
I think Otmar is going to have a lot to deal with
Oh right,
managing those two.
I forgot Omar dealt with Ocon back when he was at Racing Point and then fired him. Oh,
Yep.
oh, this is gonna be a fun season for them.
Yeah. It was funny watching Otmar just go
Like
at one
having
point.
having flashbacks, obviously. Just like not again.
Someone get him a therapist.
Final thing to talk about with Jeddah, and I want your opinions on this, and what F1 will do, you think, or should do, to resolve this, and that is the DRS kind of gamesmanship where you try to let the guy in beside you take it so that you can get him on the straight. That kind of bullshit. We saw it a few times with Max. I think we saw it also with, was it Lando?
Saw it with
You could probably find it a couple
Alonso.
times.
Yeah, Alonso did it. Leclerc did it. I think Verstappen did it too. I don't remember him doing it, but I think he probably did.
So, what are your thoughts on that? And is this kind of, if this keeps up, is this the end of DRS?
No, they'll keep it. And honestly, let them do it. It's fun. It's part of the strategy.
It's all fun until
It's-
someone goes up someone's ass.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's sort of like you could point and say it's a similar thing to NASCAR where you let someone take the slipstream and then at the last second you pull out and jet by them, right? Like it's part of the strategy. Do you want to be the guy in front or do you want to be the guy behind? Do you think you can fend off the guy behind or would you rather be the one attacking? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But
I agree with
I feel
Steven.
you have such the advantage now as the attacker versus the defender.
Yeah, I guess it too. Like, so with the NASCAR thing, it is a little different because you still like there's no, I guess, technically added boost. As soon as you step out, you lose a bit of your advantage. Whereas with the DRS, you're continuing to hold the advantage all the way around. But
Yeah. To me, I don't like it. I don't like
No?
that gamesmanship of just kind of trying to slow down to let the other guy by, to then you get DRS to pass him on the street. Honestly, I don't like it. It's gimmicky bullshit again.
Fair
I
enough.
just want to see both
But-
guys running hard, you know?
Yep. But so how do you put rules in place to change it? be my
DRS
question.
detection should not be in a braking zone.
Okay, but that's more over the entire race, right?
No, that's fair. I think a simple thing to do
No.
would just move the DRS detection so that you can't. If the DRS detection is in a braking zone, that allows you to brake earlier so the guy behind you can pass you, so you get DRS after him. And then you come back and you pass him in the straight. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they know where the zones are. They will play around it no matter what to get that advantage. Because then,
True.
like, say you make it down a straight. Okay, so I'm going to slipstream and just stick behind them, and then at the last second, I'm going to pull out, fight him through the corner, and then I'll still have the advantage later on. So you're like, there isn't really anything to do with there. So you
No,
could
but if
try
you
and
have,
get rid
like-
of it.
If you have like the detection between like in high speed corners, and maybe you change it if it's all of a sudden you're placing in high speed corners, instead of being at 1 second back, it's like a 1.2 second between that. You know what I mean?
Sure, I
Something
think
where you
no matter
can't just like brake check a guy, especially at Jeddah, where we saw something like this before of a guy trying to pass another guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think no matter what, you're going to have people game the system no matter where you put the detection zone. I think if you want to
Yeah.
fix it, you could do something similar to what Formula E does, where when you get your battery boost, you have to go off the racing line. So you are giving up the advantage. Now, how would you do that with someone being behind, because when you're giving up that advantage for the attack boost, you're typically either in front or what?
Ooh, me. How
yeah.
about you just don't game a system by not having a system to be gamed, and you get rid of DRS?
Like, yep, that works too. I'm thinking from the standpoint of they're not going to get rid of it. That's too innovative for F1 to do. That's my thinking.
I think DRS is a band-aid solution to cars not being able to pass. If we have found with these regulations cars are able to pass, get rid of DRS.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. Like, I see what your point is. I don't see a way that they would get rid of it, to be honest. But like, I don't know. I kind of agree with Steven. Like, I think that, I don't know, like a strategy. I guess like it's like from the fans' perspective, especially if you're thinking about like the ones who like are obviously the Drive to Survive fans. They want to see the drama. So for them, like the moves are cool, right? Like the moves draw them in. I think it's fine. Like it's not really hurting anybody. But it depends on how you use it and if you're actually successful at pulling the move or not.
No, that's right.
But it's also like different on different tracks too, right? Like maybe Jeddah was just better suited to that.
Maybe we just shouldn't go to Jeddah.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
Let's just.
I mean, ideally, I think if you want to have that boost, but make it fair, you look at your friends across the pond in IndyCar with a push to pass, and it's like, okay, everybody gets the same amount. Use it as your strategy, or use it however your strategy would like to use it. If you're in front and you say, I'm going to burn through it all and just have such a big lead, no one's going to be able to catch me. Do it. If you're going to say, I'm going to save it all up because my car, I know my car's faster and I'm going to save it for when I need to make a pass at the end, that's when I'm going to use it.
I mean, that's a really good idea. Like you get like 30 DRS options a race and you can only open it like, yeah.
So that way you can still get Max and Charles doing their stupid bullshit and trying to pass each other with DRS down every single straight. But eventually, one, like we saw in not Jeddah, in what's it called? Bahrain. Max burned his tires out after his third try, right? If he only has 5 attempts left, he's got to pick his battles.
But then again, if you're giving everyone DRS, then you're acknowledging that DRS is no longer needed. So kind of back to the idea I had, where you're going to have to get rid of DRS to then implement your idea of just giving everyone DRS. Because DRS is supposed to be that Band-Aid for making up that you can't follow closely behind a car, right?
Yep. So make
Somewhere
better car,
around there.
Make better car, use battery boosting like IndyCar. There, we fixed a problem.
I think you're working towards it. I don't know if it's fixed, but I kind of like this path. Speaking of, I guess, fixing problems, but not really, we have another race in America for F1.
Wait, 1 second.
Oh, what
I
now?
just 1 second before we move on from Jeddah.
Okay.
Oh God.
Can we collectively recognize that Lewis Hamilton didn't get out of Q3 for the first time in years?
Here is Taylor's hate corner. So go ahead. You get 30
sucks
seconds.
to suck. The rain is over. Can we actually say that he's the GOAT? I have many questions. Okay, we're good.
Okay, yeah, your time's up anyway. Moving on
Vegas.
now. Vegas. Thoughts, opinions, suggestions?
Heck yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
Many thoughts.
What was your
like
initial
the idea.
reaction?
I like the idea. Race in a big market where you can advertise the shit out of it.
Vegas is
I
a
mean-
market?
Well, or like big city. It's a
Well, think of-
it's a big tourist attraction already. Why not add an event?
Well, they just sports. I
every-
think is trying to move to that Vegas market, right? Like we
Everything
just
is,
had
yeah.
the Golden Knights come in.
Raiders.
Vegas Golden Knights, Raiders, Chargers,
Yep.
everything's coming in. They've had a AAA baseball team there for a couple of years, and I think they're it's always going to be one of those. We should put an MLB team there. But
Hmm.
lots of other sports are doing it. You may as well hop on the hype train. It's the betting capital of the world too, so you'll probably get a bunch of degenerates like myself who would want to go there and be sitting. And when I realize I can't afford a ticket for the actual event, I'll go sit at a machine and say, "Give me every single live bet possible. Will Max absolutely overshoot this corner? Fuck yes." And I've lost more money. Shut.
Okay,
Tried not
Yeah.
to swear that.
fair enough.
I'm already on the list for tickets,
Are you-
so
wait, actually, fuck you.
yeah, I already signed up. No, I signed up.
Oh, let me
I'm
guess. We're not
waiting.
invited. We're not invited to this either.
Excuse me, I literally invited you before we started recording.
She did, but we're just meaning like because the Canada one we're not invited to,
Yeah.
Canadian Grand Prix. That's cool.
Oh my gosh, you guys are invited. It's an open
invite, bro.
invitation always. I'm just not a good communicator, but I'm working on it.
Barely.
Again, we're working on things.
If you're gonna be on a podcast, communication I think is
Well, you know what? This podcast is helping me find a new path in my life.
okay. $50 for
as a
therapy.
fanta-
Yeah.
That's your therapy charge, or your
Or if it-
rehab,
or
or
if it-
whatever.
Or if it's following
Um,
new path, we get acknowledged as gods. Simple
Ooh,
as
I
that.
like
Or
this one.
or deities.
Ooh,
Deities.
I got that picture now.
No, absolutely
Yeah.
not. This is
Um,
not the path.
Okay, so back
This
on
is the
track.
Um,
Vegas.
okay, well, like,
race.
it's not like it's new.
Yeah, we've been to
Like
Vegas
they've
before.
raced there
Yeah.
before.
Oh my god, I saw this point so many fucking times.
Which one?
We've raced at Vegas before. Yes, okay, that was 40 years ago. We get over it.
And it was a complete disaster because you raced in a fucking parking lot.
Yes, and it was
Yeah,
literally
so
just
hopefully
like
it's gonna be
left
better.
hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, right
Did
hand,
you
left
see
hand.
the
Small straight.
comparison? The
Yes.
the track comparison of the new one versus the old one.
One looks like a giant fucking pig. The other looks like a small intestine.
It does look like a pig.
It does. It does.
Like honestly,
You know, you have to wonder what they're doing.
it's some of the most uncreative track design.
Yeah.
It's just, I will throw some fucking barriers up on the straight. Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the cool thing is that one of the straights is right down the main strip, and that
Yes.
I'm psyched for. That's awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It'll look
Ugh.
awesome.
Yes, and the one thing I'm not psyched for, I mean, from an advertising standpoint, this is fucking brilliant to do it under the lights, but a 1 a.m. Eastern time zone start
It is a Saturday,
is
At
a Saturday
10?
night.
but they're trying to make this like a UFC event.
Yeah,
Like your main
and
event comes on at 12 and stuff, and like
yeah.
it'll look
Yeah.
amazing under the Vegas lights with like
Yeah.
everything lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and
actually-
don't
I
worry,
actually love
Steven.
that.
My complaint is
Yeah.
the fact that we have to stay up till 1 a.m.
Yes, yes.
Hey, what are you even
That I'm-
talking about? We're gonna be there.
Oh, that's good.
I'm
that's a good point.
manifesting
Yeah,
this
there you go.
now. We're gonna be
There
there,
you
so
go.
it's gonna be 11 or 10 or whatever. So you won't have to stay up till 1 a.m.
There you go.
I mean, it is next
midnight
year,
when the
right?
race ends.
Yeah, it's next
Yeah.
November.
Next November.
November
Yeah.
2023.
I mean, that'll be just
No.
after the wedding, so like maybe I can
Yeah.
kind of go honeymoon that. Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
I'll think of
And
ways I can swing
invite
this.
us along. We shall conveniently appear with
Ah,
one extra
fuck.
or 2 extra tickets.
God damn it.
Hello.
Uh-huh.
We'll just be in the
Um,
opposite grandstand. Hello.
But yeah,
We're not
so-
interrupting
but
anything.
Anyways, so
Don't
I know,
mind us.
I'm gonna say I realize how hypocritical this will sound with the whole. I don't feel like staying up till 1 a.m. to watch a race that's in a 3-hour different time zone. But the amount of bitching I saw from Europeans. Why does it have to be on early in the morning? We already have to deal with Australia and China and Japan early in the morning.
Excuse
Shut
me.
up! Shut up! Shut up! Every fucking European race is in the morning for us.
Yeah, we start our
Early awake.
Sundays getting up.
I don't have any coffee in my system, and I gotta gift this shit. I don't even know if my computer's on half the time.
Wow, we really should have like cut the segment to Steven's rant corner. Like, this is
Okay,
my
everyone gets their own
feelings.
corner. Okay, we got the Hamilton hate corner with Taylor. We got the
Time zone tantrum.
time zone tantrum with Steven.
Ooh, very good.
See, I've had 3 coffees today. Now I can actually think.
That's fair. And I just am bitter.
Yes.
That's kind of it. I got nothing.
Yeah.
I just rant about everything. 90% of this podcast is just a reason for me to rant.
Random ranting. Which
That's
is-
true.
There we go.
That is true.
Or spontaneous.
Don't hurt yourself, please don't.
Mm,
Give it up right there.
okay.
So back to the pig race. I don't know. I'm excited for it. I think it's kind of cool. I saw a lot of people hating it because like America gets a third race. What the fuck's this? You go where the money is, as we've seen. However,
I was gonna say
this money is not built off like, oil and human rights abuse.
We don't talk
So
about
here's the
that.
Okay, I'm
thing.
just gonna stop right there.
So here's
Sleep
the
it under
thing.
the very large rug that looks like a pig.
When
All the
people start
flashing lights.
complaining about like the Americans getting another race, I'm like, you do realize that F1's been trying to like grow their American fan base for years, and now they've finally gotten into that market with Netflix. Like
Yeah.
when they hit Netflix, that's when everything exploded for them in North America.
It took like 2 years for F1 to be the number one motorsport in North America. It beats NASCAR.
Yeah.
It beats IndyCar. Like,
It's not
yeah.
that hard.
it's the biggest thing now. And now
Mhm.
everywhere wants
The
a
amount of
race.
and like the amount of exposure that they got from that show, especially in North America, was insane. Because like for the longest time, F1 had always kind of been like a European thing. Like people here liked it, but it was more of like a niche, right? Like it wasn't necessarily something that a lot of people loved. But as soon as you put a show about it on Netflix, everybody freaking loves it. And where else
Just
are you
look
going to
at-
put a race with all the drama? You're telling me Vegas isn't going to manufacture that stuff like the same that they do with every Golden Knights game with like somebody floating down onto the ice
Okay.
or whatever they do?
If what's her name? Celine Dion is not singing the national anthem before the Vegas race.
No, by the time that the Vegas race happens, maybe Adele will actually be in residency there.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
But
Yep.
it does bring up a question, which adding this race and adding, I think, China back in, and I think the Qatar race coming back in, what has to go? There's a couple tracks that are talking about being on their way out, like possibly the French Grand Prix.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. I wouldn't miss it.
I don't hate it. I kind of like having France in the calendar. But it's one of those things where we're going to probably start losing tracks we like in the pursuit of money.
Yeah.
Which I think is disappointing because I mean there are certain tracks that will not be touched and we all know that.
Yeah.
Like the people who started saying, "Oh, we should get rid of Monaco." I'm like, "You're high.
Well,
it's never going to happen."
That is still a talk because apparently Monaco has to pay.
Historically, no. From a on-track racing standpoint, I will listen.
It's not the most exciting race
It
on the
is.
calendar. I understand that,
No,
but
it
it's
is
like
horribly
the-
outdated for the cars that we have today versus like 40 years ago.
I would just
I
say make sure
agree.
the cars make the rules so that the cars can race that track, and then everything else will
Yep.
follow suit. That's all you gotta do.
Yep.
it's very hard to have an argument for something that's literally like part of the Triple Crown of motorsports,
Yeah, I will agree.
right? Like you're
Yep.
gonna get rid of Monaco, like
Yep.
the oldest race on the calendar.
Yep.
They've been racing there since the beginning of F1, but
Again,
honestly-
historically,
Formula E put on a fantastic race last year in Monaco.
yes, it can be good. You just can't have a fucking 40-meter long car and expect passing.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't put a boat in the
Um,
street and expect it to be good.
Yes, the boats remain in the harbor. Okay.
what about Spa?
Get the fuck out.
Yep.
Spa
I mean,
should always remain.
Why? Okay,
Um,
as long as they fixed everything and it's not gonna kill people, fine. We can
They just
remain.
dumped-
Hold on, let me look
they
at the
just-
calendar.
They just dumped a shit ton of money in.
Yeah.
They're not going to get rid of it.
Okay, so we'll see. I'm eager to see how that's going to play out this year when they race there. So I'll hold on that opinion and we might revisit. But we could remove one of the Italy races. Like we don't need to race twice in Italy.
Yeah, but they signed big contracts.
Well,
so they're gonna be on for a
yeah.
while.
So, okay. So here's the thing with multiple races in the same country. Can you not have some sort of rotation? Like, we don't need to go to COTA every year. We don't need to, like, if you want to have 2 US races each year and 2 Italian races, why not just swap some in and out, change up the venues?
So
Yeah.
here's my big worry also with like Vegas, and there is talk of them wanting to add a 4th race also in New York.
Yep.
That's a southern race, a eastern race, a northeastern race, and then a
West Coast race.
Yeah,
Westish race.
there already is a northeastern race.
Montreal.
Yeah.
So, as Canadian fans, are we going to lose the Canadian Grand Prix to make room for all the American ones that are trying to chase
Yeah.
that cash cow?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that I've seen, like a worry in the Canadian motorsports community that we could be losing our race, which I think would be insanely disappointing because Montreal is a fun time. Like it's a fun race.
It's one of the
And it would
biggest
be
cities that actually holds a race in the city.
and it's been there for so long.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've had a race in Montreal for a really long time. And it would really suck to see it go. And I really hope that they don't take away our one and only race to put a freaking 5th race in the United States. Like, you don't have to chase the cash cow that much where you're sacrificing, like, the accessibility of another large chunk of your fan base not having a race that they can go and see in their own country.
Yeah. But just travel to
but-
New York and you can go
Yeah,
watch
New
it
York's just stone's throw away, said the British, and then they realized, oh yeah, North America's a lot bigger.
Yeah, but like you're cutting off all of those fans like who came into the sport, when Villeneuve started racing, right?
Mhm.
Like they had somebody that they could follow who was from their city.
Yep.
Right? So it's just I mean, there's 2 Canadians in F1.
there. Yep.
You'd be taking away their home race too. Like I know that everybody doesn't necessarily get a home race, but like a lot of them do.
Yeah, they actually haven't gotten a home race in 2 years.
Yep.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
it would be insanely unfair to ask all like your whole Canadian fan base to just pick up and go down to the States if they want to see one.
Yep. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. I think the best solution is, again, like Steven says, rotate.
Yeah.
Or even like
I think
rotate
that's a great
the F1
idea.
calendar,
Yeah.
Maybe have like if there are 30 places that want F1 races, have 8 that stay.
Yeah,
That are
you'll have
always
your
on.
certain. Yeah, so like, what are your mainstays? Your mainstays are Monaco,
Monza,
Spa, Monza, Silverstone. Like there's
Yeah.
like those 4 definitely. Maybe Austria. I don't know. Red Bull Ring.
I'd go Austria. Yep.
Yeah, I like that one.
Obviously,
Obviously Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, I guess.
That
Yeah.
one's
Yep.
yeah, that's not gonna move.
I would throw in.
Sao Paulo.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I think Brazil's also futures in doubt, right?
Yep. I don't know. You got 5 mainstays right there that will stay on, and then you can rotate.
Yeah,
through
people can
everything
debate
else.
what are the best ones to actually go with, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But I do also want to bring up one point, which is people getting mad at the Americanization, air quotes, of F1 because America is getting all these races. It's like, yeah, they're going where this massive growing fan base is in the demographic that you want it to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they are in that peak 20 to 40 demographic window. That's the people that can pay for shit. They are the group that is growing at a rate most other sports can only dream of right now. Of course you're going to chase that. Of course. My worry is that the Americanization is not F1 going to the US. It's F1 being treated like a US sport. And what I mean by that is that American sports seem to have a historical problem of chasing the money, and in doing so, putting usually those within the sport at risk, or at least doing it at a cost to their personal health. You know, like we've seen in terms of the F1, Stefano, whatever the heck is
Domenicali?
That's the guy. Yeah. He was like, oh, I think we should have like 30 races. Yeah, the teams could not support that.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have the actual crew of the teams run that hard of a schedule. They would break.
Yeah.
On the flip side, we have seen multiple F1 tracks like Jeddah, like Baku, all these places that have money that F1's so happy to go to. Probably not the safest event. Probably ones where you more think, oh, maybe a bad accident could happen on one of these street circuits.
Yeah.
High speed, close to a wall. Maybe this isn't a good thing. Again, we saw an accident with Mick. We've seen several high-speed crashes at Baku that usually everyone's okay with, but still, the issue's always there. And as we have seen in the last few years with F1, a big worry I feel in the current car design and philosophy in terms of safety is still high-speed T-bone accidents, right? Which F1 has not done anything to really address, I feel. And we're going to continue to put cars in high-speed, basically street circuits where if a car goes off, it has nowhere to go but still on the track. If F1, I feel, continues down this road of pursuing profit and kind of half-assing everything, or just trying to not really give a shit about their driver safety, not to mention also, I forgot, missile hitting fucking next to track, just, again, back to that part of the conversation. If F1 continues down this path, within 5 years, someone will be killed.
Yeah,
I agree. Either driver, either marshal, either who knows if it's in the crowd or something because of some stupid, awful accident. Something terrible will happen because F1 seems to have gotten a little greedy recently. It's seeing the growth it's gotten, and they're going, we're going to capitalize on this now and not try to make it sustainable. Which to me is very concerning for the sport.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I just don't want F1 to be like the NFL, the NHL, the NCAA. You know, putting profit above the well-being of others never goes well. And I think, you know, audiences are smarter than that. But yes, anyway, so that's my rant. Anything else? Final thoughts on Vegas, or move on to the last topic?
I think we've covered it
beaten this
enough.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's fair.
No, beating the pig, Sean. Beating the pig.
Sorry, beating the pig. Yes.
Bitten the pig, yes.
But it'll look nice. So we have now to talk about NASCAR.
Yahoo! Where did we even leave off with NASCAR?
I don't even know. I was going to
Been a
talk
while.
about. I was going to talk
been
about
a minute.
the Coda finish because that was nuts. Where what was it? Chastain. What was it? He was in a fight with Allmendinger in the last lap.
Yeah.
Punted. Well, Allmendinger kind of punted Chastain, and then Chastain came back and punted Allmendinger into Bowman.
You know, remember the achievements you used to get in Rocket League? And it's like Q shot was one of them. When you bash an opponent into the ball and the ball went in. That's basically what he did.
Yeah. Though there is part of me that really wanted Chastain and Allmendinger just to take each other out, so Bowman could back into another fucking win.
Yeah.
Just
Same fucking guy.
just
back
keep
into
that
another
moving.
fucking win.
Okay, Kyle, calm down. But on that finish, do you think that is acceptable? Do you think the door banging and contact is something that we should praise in NASCAR, or is it something that we should kind of rein in while we still can?
Yeah, I think rein it in while you still can, because then I think it just becomes like there'll be a point where it just becomes a little bit too much and somebody goes for it and you're putting people out of the race all the time. Like I know that NASCAR is a little bit like rough around the edges sometimes.
A little.
A lot. But you run the risk if you continue to let it happen, you run the risk of NASCAR basically being like a derby. You know what I mean?
Yep. Like a demolition
Where you're
derby.
just yeah, that's the word. That's all you're doing, and like I think they'll end up losing even more fans of the sport that way because they're just becoming like they're trying to seek entertainment so much that you're sacrificing the integrity of a race in favor of people loving the crashes.
Yeah, how far down that rabbit hole of seeking entertainment do you start going WWE style and scripting your races?
WrestleMania
Yeah.
had a big draw this weekend. I
Okay,
don't know. It's not the
okay.
worst idea.
But again, that takes away from the sport.
Yeah.
Are you a sport?
But NASCAR's
or are you
had that problem.
entertainment?
But
Exactly.
all about the drama.
NASCAR is by far, like, honestly, we all know my feelings about NASCAR.
Yes.
Never gonna hide that. But I think they overcompensate for the fact that they're losing their fan base, like, continually, like, year after year. They just continue losing fans, and I think they try and overcompensate for that by adding stupid gimmicks and then selling themselves out to the entertainment chase.
I'll be honest. This package though is working. It is providing good racing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if NASCAR has a choice specifically in the next year or so to basically decide, do we kind of want to go back to being a racing product or go back to being a entertainment focused product with,
Mm-hmm.
you can even see it in NASCAR's marketing, right? How many crashes do you see in a commercial pack for NASCAR, right?
Yeah.
A lot. It's appealing to the crowd, they think.
Yeah.
But really,
But
that's not true though, because we can see it in F1. What's the appealing part? It's having good storylines to follow throughout a season. That is what you need to push your sport. It's not about the action; it's about the story.
Yeah.
So, moving on from, I guess, the Coda incident, we do actually have a fun story so far for NASCAR though this year. And after the first few races, we can see that the car definitely evens the field, and it's basically the rise of all the young guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different winners. So that's very promising for NASCAR.
Yep. You had a first-time winner in Chase Briscoe.
Yep.
The 1 week I didn't bet on him, he won. Shocker.
I mean, you already had Austin Cindric win. I'm still holding out for Tyler Reddick to get his first win. It'll be soon.
Yep.
It'll happen.
Yeah. When I don't bet on him, as it happens.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
as
me,
you do.
with Briscoe.
Exactly. Currently, your top 5 in, I'll go top 6 in NASCAR standings. Blaney, young-ish guy. Chase Elliott, again, younger guy. Truex, yeah, he's your older guy.
Yeah.
William Byron,
Younger guy.
and Joey
Mhm.
Logano,
Older guy.
and Ross Chastain, younger.
Mm-hmm.
This rush is-
So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you're seeing, like, basically, I feel these young guys who didn't have the chance at the teams they were at before because maybe they weren't as funded and stuff, they are now rising up. So you're seeing new talent you may have not seen, or guys that may have been overlooked. Kyle Larson's kind of had an interesting year so far.
Yeah, so much for the what is it? The predictions at the beginning of the year.
I mean, he's still going to make the playoffs. All of this doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It all matters until the playoffs. But as long as
Yeah.
not more than 16 guys win a race this year, it'll be fine.
Yeah, pacing for it.
Maybe. I mean, as of right now,
I
Denny
don't-
Hamlin is 20th in points, and he's the last guy with a win.
Yeah.
So maybe.
So
maybe.
He'll find a win in there somewhere.
No, he
Or he already
has
has.
it.
Never mind. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he won yesterday, but he hasn't had a good time so far. But I don't know. NASCAR's been very entertaining. It's had good races, whether it's road courses, short tracks like Richmond yesterday, super speedway, or even like the mile and a half. Everything's been looking good. It's what I like. F1 had their new car, success. Everyone's finding it way more entertaining. NASCAR's got a new car. It's a success. Everyone's finding it way more entertaining. You know, there's something to be said about getting new cars into series. And
IndyCar's still running really old Dallara.
It is 10 years old.
Really old Dallara.
Ugh.
A Dallara chassis can be technically classified, I think, in some vintage races.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're due for an upgrade.
Who knows? Who knows when that'll happen?
We'll see.
So, yeah. Any NASCAR thoughts for y'all?
No, we'll get back on it. We sort of skimmed it, but
Yeah.
it's hard when they race every single weekend. No weekends off.
And we record usually after they race or
Yes.
before they race. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of us doesn't even watch the races.
Yes, Steven. Cheese.
Exactly.
What?
So, before we go, I want to quickly finish with something we haven't done in a while, and that's an overrated, underrated, favorite, least favorite. And that'll be on F1 tracks. So, speaking on Vegas, removing a track, I want your guys' overrated, underrated, favorite, least favorite tracks.
Is it only tracks that we're racing at this year? Like, what's on the schedule for 2022?
Tracks, yes, sure. Let's go to the 2022 schedule.
Okay.
Or within the last
I already have my least
3
favorite.
years.
I already have my least favorite.
Okay, so what is your overrated track, though?
My overrated track. Let us see. I'm just gonna bring up the calendar here.
I'm actually doing the exact same.
I feel like it's hard to choose an overrated track because, like, I know that there's ones that people love them like a lot, but
from a racing standpoint, it's easily Monaco.
But we're not
Yeah, I
talking
was gonna
racing.
say.
We're talking everything that's
All encompassing.
involved
So
in
the
the
exper-
weekend.
Yes. Yes, and again, from a racing standpoint,
Okay,
Monaco
I
is
have it.
extremely overrated. From an all-encompassing, it balances out.
okay. Might be a little controversial, but Texas.
Ooh. As your
Because I don't
overrated?
actually, as my overrated, because like, I don't find the racing there to be necessarily very exciting. And the show that they put on can sometimes be like, what? Like last year, do you remember that weird, like, thing that they had?
Martin
It was like
Brundle
a
on the
weird-
grid.
Yeah, okay, like, it was the
Okay.
one that, like, all of the American celebrities went to, and
Yeah, I
they just,
know,
like,
yeah.
overplayed. Like,
yeah, I can
yeah,
see
I
it.
just-
I can see that being somewhat overhyped and hasn't produced some of the best racing.
Mhm.
It's a cool track in my opinion, but yeah. Steven? Overrated?
Overrated. That's tough. Because part of me wants to say the Red Bull Ring.
Ooh.
ooh.
I don't know. It's tough though. What else? I don't know. What else is there that?
Okay,
like,
well, you're
'cause
thinking-
because
Okay.
I'm thinking like Spain, but it's not really overrated because the general opinion is it's okay. It's meh.
Yeah.
So
While you're still thinking and discussing with yourself, I'll say the Netherlands, Zandvoort, is overrated.
Ooh. Okay.
It is not a good track. It does not produce good racing. It basically is follow the leader. The only thing you get is a bunch of orange flares going off, and unless you're fucking Max Verstappen, I'm sure you don't really care too much about that.
True. Now, are you speaking on, like, obviously you're speaking on races in the past that have been at Zandvoort, because Zandvoort also underwent in a makeover ahead of this year.
I'm just talking about the race we got last year. Didn't Max win by like 40 seconds?
yes, but
Wait,
wasn't that
We
the
raced
case
in the
with, like-
Netherlands last year?
Yes.
Disregard my comment.
That's staying in.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I feel like we need more evidence because it's not like we've been there for like 20 years, right?
No, true, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's very hyped because of the atmosphere.
Max,
but
Max,
I think
Max. Okay, but no, but if we're including everything in it, then like,
but it's not the same. Like the Netherlands, yeah, it's overhyped for Max, but it's not like, what if Max fucking wrecks out? Is it still gonna have the same atmosphere? No.
maybe.
Like
Probably
let's
not. No, everybody would be sad.
okay, let's look at Monza. They have had the best fans for how long? That doesn't have a Ferrari being successful.
Yes, but okay,
Yeah.
so again, you don't have evidence that it wouldn't still be a good atmosphere. You can guess,
but I'm
and
just
it's a very good
assuming,
guess.
and I'm just saying it's overrated
Yes.
because I
Maybe
haven't
we'll
seen
have the data
anything
this
there.
year.
Maybe we will.
Maybe we'll get the data this
At least
year.
I can
I'm just
pick a
saying,
fucking
I've-
overrated thing, Steven.
I said Red Bull Ring.
You said maybe.
Oh,
Red
you're
Bull.
sticking with
You're gonna
that?
go with that?
I'll
Okay.
stick with it. I'll stick with it.
You were
just
kind of
to-
like a.
Do you have a justification for a Red Bull ring?
because fuck you. That's why.
Okay.
Okay.
So is that's overrated?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. What's your underrated track, Taylor?
I feel like this is more difficult because there are like lots of tracks that are like very properly rated.
Yes.
But I feel like I'm gonna go for the home team and I'm gonna say Montreal.
Okay, that's fair.
Because it might not be the one on the calendar that people look forward to the most, but I think it's a very exciting race.
Usually it has the capability to have some good races.
And that hairpin turn looks really cool.
I like the Wall of Champions.
And the circuit's named after Villeneuve, so why not?
Yeah.
The good Villeneuve, not Jacques.
You mean his uncle?
Yes.
I will agree with that, but I'll change up. So I will say for me, I think Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mexico, I think doesn't get enough love. It's a
Going through the
good
soccer
I would agree.
stadium.
soccer stadium, super long straight, pretty good sector 1-2 bit. Yeah, I think it's a good track. Usually, again, has had entertaining races and usually decent championship implications.
I'm gonna go with Brazil and Interlagos.
I'm surprised you didn't take 5
Oh,
minutes for
okay.
that one too.
Ah, fuck yourself. No, but like, wasn't it like 2 years ago we were talking about dropping the track off of the calendar?
I still think
Right?
that's
I
on
feel
there.
like
I
that's
think,
true, yeah.
I think they've been trying to sell that land for a while.
Yes,
For, like,
and
redevelopment.
so, but it's honestly producing really good racing. It's always fun down into turn one. Like, what was it? Was it last? Yeah, last year when Hamilton made up all his spots in turn one.
Yeah.
And then you had, the whole turn 4 incident with Max. It's good racing. It's a fun track, and I think it should also go back to being the finale.
Also, when you get the chance of like for the weather variables in Brazil
Mhm.
too, it also makes it very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a lot to like about it, and so F1 on their F1 experience, or what is this? This might just be a random blog, but I think it's an actual F1. Anyways, they've got it rated 6th, and I'm like, that's a little low.
That's fair.
It should be top 3.
Okay. Favorite track. Start with favorite.
Okay. I guess I'll start.
That's the order we've been doing this.
Monza.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, mine was also
Yeah.
Monza.
I freaking
Yep.
love Monza.
Temple of
Like
Speed.
every year we get a really good race,
I mean,
and the unexpected happens.
3 straight years we've had great races there.
And podiums that like really changed everything up.
Can we just talk about that podium too being over the track? Like how great that podium
Mhm.
actually is. Like everything about Monza, it is the perfect track.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
also I think like if you ask the average F1 fan what their bucket list one is, and you like if it's like someone who had like us who haven't been to a race, like yeah, obviously Montreal's on the list because home race, why not? I want to go to one in my home country. I think a majority would say the Temple of Speed is somewhere I want to go.
Yeah.
If I can't pick my home track.
Also, there's been 4
Absolutely.
different winners in the last 4 years, right? Like, yeah.
Mhm.
And there's
Great.
multiple points of drama. You got the race down to turn 1 for like every track, but then you also have people going through the off track route while everyone else goes around, and they all rejoin again. It's just another fucking shit show.
And just the name of the corners too, like
The Curva Grande.
Yeah, Curva Grande, the Lesbos 1, Lesbos 2, the Scary Chicane, Parabolica.
Yeah.
Like, it's so historic, and it's just a great track.
It is a really
Okay,
great track,
I'm
100%. So
glad
are we
we
all
can all
planning a
agree.
trip to Monza?
Consensus.
one day.
Yay.
One day?
I need more money.
Yeah. Least favorite.
Jeddah. Obviously.
That's fair.
That track's going to kill
Um,
somebody, and I think it's so unnecessary to race there.
Abu Dhabi.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Why?
It's only produced one good race, and that also was kind of because the safety car kind of made that happen. That still wasn't that
Yeah.
good of a race.
it took
True,
Michael Masi
true.
making questionable
Like,
decisions.
let's be honest, that track still hasn't produced a good race in a while, ever.
It produced
Typically it does not,
produced
you're
a good
right.
ending, not a good race.
Yeah.
Because how far ahead was Hamilton? Like 10 seconds up the road or something?
Well, I'm not going to bring up that, but yes.
So, I would also say Abu Dhabi, but to be a little different, I'll say Spain. It's not a
Okay, fair enough.
not a great track.
That's fair.
It puts you to bed. The most memorable thing I have from that is Drive to Survive Season 1. Hey, you think Roman crashes out on lap 1 here? First
No,
corner.
No,
Or
wasn't it like he's going to crash out in like the first corner? It's like, oh, he won't even make it to the first corner.
Yeah,
Like something
or
like that.
he'll be crashed out by the end of lap 1. I don't even think he makes the first corner.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
then-
crashes out in the second corner.
Yeah, and they're laughing at him. Yeah.
But that's the most memorable thing I have from Spain right now.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, the other most memorable thing from that track is the Mercedes crashing,
Yeah, that was
which
their own stupidity.
led to Max winning.
Yeah.
But that was all you could like. That fight was the entire season between those two. So
Mhm, yeah,
that was just a flashpoint.
yeah.
So could have happened anywhere because we've seen that before in places like Baku, where a certain Red Bull went up another certain Red Bull's ass for some reason.
And on that note, okay, well, there you have it. There is our thoughts on which tracks are overrated, underrated, favorite, least favorite. There is also our thoughts on the last few weeks of racing stuff. And yeah, so we will be back next week. Hopefully it is not as heavy of a week, and we'll probably talk some Australia Grand Prix and maybe some other stuff that we have missed along the way. And we'll be back then. Okay, goodbye.
Thanks for listening to Spare Parts. Remember to follow the show on Twitter at sparepartspod and the hosts at Stephen Clary, at Sean Cavarella, and at Tate Moore.